Have you ever stood face to face with someone who seemed flawless on the surface, who said exactly what you wanted to hear, smiled with perfect timing, and spoke in a voice so calm it almost felt soothing, yet somehow left you feeling uneasy, like a quiet alarm ringing deep inside you? It's not something you can easily explain. There's no clear reason to distrust them. They're polite, charming, even radiant. But still, something tightens in your chest, a subtle warning whispered by your instincts, telling you to be careful. The great psychologist Carl Jung taught that the parts of ourselves we refuse to confront don't just stay hidden, they emerge outside us, often as challenges disguised in people who appear too good to be true. These aren't the obvious villains or rude strangers. Instead, they're the ones who seem flawless, confident, and morally impeccable, but behind their sparkling exterior lies a quiet emptiness, a denial so deep it shadows their true nature. Behind that perfect smile, sometimes, hides a darkness they refuse to face. This isn't about the kind of evil that shouts and rages in plain sight. Instead, it's about the quiet, invisible forces hidden deep within someone's mind, the subtle, internal struggles that make them truly dangerous. It's not their actions that harm most, but their stubborn refusal to face the darkness lurking inside themselves. Ideas like projection, persona, inflation, and possession aren't just abstract psychology terms, they're living realities that sneak into our daily lives. They show up in conversations that leave you unsettled, in relationships that drain your energy, and in people who mirror back to you the parts of themselves they desperately try to hide. But here's the most important truth: this isn't just about them, it's about every one of us. Each person carries their own shadow, their own hidden depths of pain, fear, and denial. The line that separates safety from danger, healing from harm, doesn't run between strangers or enemies, it runs through the very core of our own souls. Have you ever found yourself sitting across from someone and feeling an unshakable, unexplained unease, even though their words are courteous and their smile seems genuine? That unsettling sensation isn't about what they say, it's something deeper, something beneath the surface that your body instinctively picks up on before your mind can even process it. Jung taught us that this feeling is not rooted in logic or reason but in the subtle whispers of our nervous system, those hidden alarms sounding softly when something is off, even if nothing outwardly seems wrong. Unlike obvious hostility or aggression, this kind of danger is cloaked in charm, warmth, and seeming kindness. Our unconscious mind acts like a finely tuned radar, sensing discord without needing concrete proof. Jung described this as a rupture in psychic congruence, a profound disconnect between the persona someone projects and the true self they conceal. While our conscious thoughts might fail to grasp this gap, our bodies never lie. They register the misalignment as tension or discomfort. This invisible fracture is far more damaging and corrosive than any blatant cruelty, quietly eroding trust and safety from within. This insight isn't new, it resonates deeply through the world's oldest wisdom traditions. In Buddhism, it's likened to a flawlessly polished mirror that only reflects illusions, glittering on the surface but offering no true reflection beneath. Christianity warns us about whitewashed tombs, pristine and radiant from the outside yet hollow and decayed within, a chilling image of deceptive appearances hiding a deeper emptiness. These powerful metaphors all converge on the same profound truth that Jung revealed. The gravest danger comes from those who have become strangers to their own inner selves, disconnected not just from others but from their very core. It is this loss of authentic self-awareness, this inner blindness, that makes someone truly perilous, for without genuine self-connection, their actions and presence become unpredictable, unstable, and ultimately harmful in ways no external force can match. Human beings are naturally inclined to trust what they see, the expressions on a face, the subtle cues of body language, the familiar rhythms of speech. These signals form the basis of our social instincts, guiding us toward safety and away from harm. Yet, what happens when someone perfects their outward mask so convincingly that even they are fooled by their own carefully crafted facade? In those moments, they become a paradox, a living contradiction. To the outside world, they seem warm, reassuring, even gentle, but deep inside, they evoke a primal unease, an instinctive recoil that bypasses logic. Jung warned us to heed that uneasy feeling when kindness feels too measured, smiles appear empty, or words lack authentic emotion. It's not the people who openly reveal their faults who pose the greatest threat. Rather, it's those who bury their imperfections so thoroughly that they vanish beneath layers of pretense. Their danger isn't rooted in malevolence but in a profound estrangement from their own selves, a self-alienation so complete that they become mysteries even to those closest to them. Picture yourself in a conversation with someone who at first seems perfectly ordinary, friendly, even kind, but gradually, the tone shifts. Suddenly, they start accusing you of thoughts and intentions you don't recognize, as if they're not speaking to you, but to some twisted caricature born from their own mind. Jung called this phenomenon shadow projection. The shadow is that hidden part of ourselves where we shove everything we refuse to accept, whether it's anger, jealousy, selfishness, cruelty, or even suppressed talents and desires. We bury these fragments deep in the unconscious because they clash with the image we want the world to see. But what we deny doesn't disappear, it festers in the darkness, growing in strength until it demands release. The most common outlet is projection, casting these unwanted parts onto others. So when someone accuses you unfairly, it's not always spite. Often, they genuinely believe you embody the very qualities they reject in themselves. In that moment, you become a living mirror, reflecting their hidden shadows back to them, whether you want to or not. This pattern extends far beyond just individuals. It's a powerful force driving entire societies into division, prejudice, and the need to find scapegoats. Whole communities have been vilified and cast as enemies simply because, like individuals, societies refuse to acknowledge their own hidden darkness and instead shift blame onto others. Jung cautioned us that the true danger of projection lies in the absolute certainty of the projector. They don't just suspect or imagine, they fully believe their distorted view is the objective reality. What makes this even more dangerous is how others, often unknowingly, join in and reinforce this false narrative, creating a feedback loop that strengthens the illusion. Modern neuroscience backs this up. Our brains are wired to seek confirmation of what we believe, and shadow projection exploits this by trapping both the projector and their followers in a cycle of self-deception. At this point, the projector no longer sees you as a complex human being but only as a character in the fantasy they've created inside their mind. This experience breeds deep confusion and crippling self-doubt in those caught in its grip, especially when the person projecting holds significant social influence or emotional control over them. How can you recognize when you're trapped in this psychological trap? It often starts with a faint, unsettling feeling, a subtle dissonance where your true intentions are twisted or completely misunderstood. You find yourself accused of things you never said or thought, and no matter how clearly you try to explain, your words seem to fall on deaf ears. The person across from you isn't searching for honesty or dialogue. Instead, they crave only one thing: confirmation that their skewed story about you is true, no matter the cost to reality or your integrity. Those who project don't simply fail to understand, they actively twist and rewrite reality to shield their fragile sense of self. They perceive everything through a distorted lens that reinforces their carefully constructed identity, and anyone who challenges or threatens this image instantly becomes an enemy. Jung didn't label this behavior as outright evil. Instead, he described it as a profound psychological blindness. These individuals refuse to confront the darkness residing within themselves, so they compulsively seek it outside, clutching onto projection like a deceptive bomb. This false comfort only serves to deepen their wounds, blocking the path to genuine self-awareness and true healing. Recognizing projection goes beyond mere self-defense. It serves as a powerful invitation to look inward and confront our own hidden truths. Each of us carries shadows, parts of ourselves we deny or refuse to accept, and these rejected fragments often get cast onto others. So when you sense judgment or criticism swelling inside you, pause and ask yourself, is this truly about them, or is it a reflection of something buried deep within me that I'm unwilling to face? The courage to honestly explore these shadowed corners diminishes their grip, freeing us from unconscious reactions and allowing us to reclaim control over our inner world. Then there's the kind of person who exudes absolute certainty, speaking with relentless confidence about what is right and wrong, as if they alone hold the keys to moral truth. Their presence can feel magnetic, even uplifting, drawing others in with the promise of clarity and purpose. But Jung cautioned that beneath this dazzling moral certainty often hides a perilous form of ego inflation. This isn't mere arrogance, it's a deeper, more insidious swelling of the self, carefully cloaked in righteousness. Such individuals merge their sense of identity with powerful archetypes, whether the savior, the prophet, or the unyielding judge, and begin to perceive themselves as untouchable, almost divine figures whose judgments are beyond question. At first glance, this unwavering certainty can seem noble or even admirable, someone so sure of their beliefs that doubt no longer touches them. But the true danger arises when self-questioning fades completely. They come to see themselves as the embodiment of ultimate truth, which means that any opposition isn't merely mistaken, it becomes something evil or corrupt that must be crushed. This psychological possession traps them in a rigid moral absolutism, splitting the world into stark divisions of good and evil, right and wrong, friend and enemy. Under the guise of pure righteousness, they dismiss and silence anyone who disagrees, casting others as illegitimate or dangerous. Their ironclad certainty magnetizes followers hungry for clear answers in a chaotic world, yet beneath this facade lies a deep and troubling estrangement from their own inner shadow, the parts of themselves they refuse to acknowledge, often the very source of their blind spots. History offers countless examples of the devastation wrought by egos swollen beyond reason, movements fueled by fiery revolutions, cults preaching salvation, and rigid ideologies promising utopia but delivering only pain and disillusionment. The source of their power lies in an unshakable self-confidence that often masks deep, unspoken fears of vulnerability and uncertainty. Across diverse spiritual traditions, this perilous state is recognized and warned against. Zen Buddhism speaks of Zen sickness, a spiritual malaise caused by attachment to the self. Sufism warns of a veil of light that blinds seekers to their true nature, and Meister Eckhart called this spiritual blindness the gravest danger one can face on the path to enlightenment. Clear signs of this ego inflation emerge as an intolerance toward any criticism, rigid and dogmatic thinking, an obsessive need to prove moral superiority, and a performative humility that conceals pride. Most alarming of all, these individuals are utterly convinced of their own righteousness, deceiving not only those around them but themselves as well. Jung described this condition as unconscious inflation, when the ego fuses with an idealized, often divine, image and claims an authority it does not truly possess. This fragile state cannot last indefinitely. Sooner or later, reality intervenes, shattering illusions and forcing a painful reckoning. Such a collapse is not a punishment but a natural and necessary correction, a painful yet vital process that rebalances the soul and opens the door to genuine growth. How, then, should we navigate encounters with those who speak with unshakable certainty, as if holding the absolute truth in their hands? Jung counsels us to approach such individuals with careful vigilance, recognizing that true wisdom is never rigid or dogmatic, it is humble, questioning, and open to complexity. The hallmark of genuine insight is an embrace of doubt, a willingness to sit with uncertainty rather than banish it. Even more crucial is the need to turn the lens inward and reflect on our own hunger for infallible heroes or saviors. When we elevate others to flawless, untouchable pedestals, we deny our own intricate nature and the richness of our imperfections. This idolization weakens our resilience and blinds us to the nuanced realities of life, making us vulnerable to disillusionment. Ultimately, Jung's teachings remind us that true wholeness does not spring from perfection or moral superiority. Instead, it blossoms from living authentically, acknowledging and embracing the shadows within ourselves, without shame or denial. The genuinely integrated person carries their virtue not as a banner to be waved but as a quiet strength, grounded in self-acceptance and an unwillingness to place themselves above others. In this humble acceptance lies real power and freedom. There are those people who seem to have mastered every social cue, always saying exactly the right thing at precisely the right moment, their smiles perfectly timed, their gestures graceful and never out of place. In any gathering, they blend in effortlessly, appearing almost flawless, as if they carry an invisible script for social success. But strangely, after spending time around them, a strange emptiness lingers, an unsettling void that you can't quite explain. It's as if something essential, some vital spark of genuine connection, has been quietly stripped away. Jung described this unsettling phenomenon as total identification with the persona, a complex psychological mask so meticulously crafted and polished that the person beneath it becomes almost invisible, lost beneath layers of social performance. The persona represents the self we present to the world, shaped by expectations, roles, and social norms. It's a necessary tool to navigate society, but when it becomes mistaken for our true identity, the line between authentic self and facade blurs, and a deep, essential part of our humanity fades into shadow. These individuals may seem outwardly balanced, even morally upright and emotionally composed, yet beneath this serene exterior lies a profound suppression, not genuine peace, but a soul silenced. Every authentic impulse, every spontaneous desire or genuine feeling, is controlled or muted, leaving behind a hollow shell that can never truly breathe or thrive. Jung cautioned that this kind of flawless perfection is not a sign of strength but a warning of deep, unresolved repression. Human nature is never meant to be seamless or unblemished. Rather, we are designed to be whole beings, embracing contradictions, imperfections, and the full spectrum of our inner complexity. When someone meticulously smooths out every rough edge and erases all signs of struggle or imperfection, they are not achieving true peace, they are burying their darker, hidden parts far beneath the surface. And what is buried does not disappear quietly. Instead, it festers and grows, transforming into a shadow that becomes increasingly unstable and dangerous the more energy is poured into maintaining the polished exterior. The real threat doesn't lie in their outward politeness or professional demeanor, but in the profound disconnection from their own authentic self and from others. Those who are completely consumed by their persona become perfect mirrors reflecting only what others expect or desire to see. In doing so, they lose the ability to connect in a meaningful, genuine way, to reveal vulnerability or authenticity. Conversations and relationships with such people feel strangely empty, lacking emotional depth, spontaneity, and the natural risks that come with true connection. Their smiles may appear sincere, but the vital core, the soul, the living essence of who they are, is missing, hidden behind an impenetrable mask.